I end up, putting a check in my account, and I started the project, man. I end up getting the house fixed up within 6 months. I end up using part of the $50,000. I end up getting the house done for $32,000. I end up
Right.
taking $10,000 of that $50,000 or so, 10 to 12,000, and I end up purchasing another house, a 4-unit building, on a lease option, and I didn't have to put any money down. It
Mm.
was another mentor of mine. She didn't like multi-units. She only liked single families, but she
Yeah.
ended up with one and she wanted to get rid of it. So she gave that to me with no money down. And all I had to do was fix up a unit. The other 3 units was rented out. She went in half with me, $800 a piece. We paid
Yeah.
$1,600. We got the unit rented out, and then I had that whole building, and she allowed me to take over her payment. I didn't have to pay. She didn't want any income on it. She just says, as long as you pay what I pay every month, you can have this house, Anthony. So I took the house. Along with that, I ended up fixing up the house by taking an extra 10 grand from over at this house,
Yeah.
painted the house, redid the stairs, made it look nice. And then on both houses, within a year, I went and refinanced them. And on both houses, I ended up paying everyone back off. And I ended up getting $55,000 on one of the houses and another $49,000 out of the other house in equity. So in less than a year of me starting my real estate investment, I ended up pulling more than $100,000 of cash flow, actual hard cash. And then I took that cash and I ended up purchasing 17 houses in 6 months. And built a portfolio over 2.5 million, and end up, putting cash in our pockets of over like $420,000 based off of the creative way that we were purchasing those houses at that time. So that was like my first big success. When I was in my mid 20s, I'm like, thinking like, man, this is ridiculous. Like I'm the man. So that was a great time, and we did extremely well in terms of what we were doing on the real estate scene. And we were also investing in the stock market at that time as well. So things were great for a while until really 9/11 hit. And then things kind of got rough on the investment side, but the real estate side had always been good to us.
Yeah, that's a great story. Like coming from like the background of yours and building that kind of portfolio of 2.5 million. It's a great achievement for like in your 20s. And I know you talked about like when we had a chat earlier last week, uh, point of your life, you had like a low moment where you have ended up being in a prison. So tell us about like how that happened and like what gained to them kind of like being in a prison for like 6 years.
Yeah. That's the other thing. So now, with that, I had all that great success, did extremely well. Things were great. Started being, known in my community, of course, as an investor, started helping a lot of different people, I helped a lot of people start their businesses, got a lot of people in the industry and business. And that was really the beginning of my starting to teach and coach and just inspire and uplift. So I was a big component of helping people and really just trying to help people get out of their situations and poverty. And now this kind of brings me full circle with the same individual that when we were kids, and got in that trouble when that teacher told us, I'm saying that he had this bright future and I didn't, now it was full circles and he was kind of, doing things illegally, selling drugs in that world, and we were still good friends and whatever. So at any cost, I would try to help him. And one of the biggest mistakes that I made is that I end up, helping him and help him get a few houses, help, do a few different things. And then the biggest mistake is I made is that I end up doing a favor for him by going and picking up some work that he had, because I was going to be in that area. And I was like, you know what? All right, I'll pick it up. I'll bring it back because I had, a building and I had a property in Chicago. And I guess that's where he was, doing his little business about it there. And I ended up getting stopped on my way back, so at that particular time, I had a successful business.
Did you know at that point of time, like when your friends giving you the stuff, do you know there is them drugs or whatever in there? Did you know, or you had no clue?
Oh no, I knew exactly. I was very aware of what was going on. I knew what was happening. I agreed to it, but the sad thing about it is that for a week when he was asking me to do it, I told him no. I was like,
Yeah.
nah, I'm good. And the only thing that broke me down was really my first real lesson that made me do it is that he owed me some money
Right.
and for a couple of houses. So, he was just, saying, hey, if you do this, what I'm saying, I'll be able to, do this, and then I'll be able to give you this. And after, not taking his calls for almost a week or whatever, and just saying, look, man, I'm not going to do it. He finally begged me like, man, we family, man, come just talk to me for a minute, man, and just hear me out. So
Yeah.
when I heard him out, he kind of promised me what was going to happen and what was he going to do and how he was going to take care of this stuff and do all this different stuff. So for me at that time, I'm thinking like, yeah, I can use that extra 30 grand and, I can do this, that'd be great.